Fucking cold. Fuck it, whatever. That's trying to warm myself up. Fine. Piece of fucking shit. Oh, what the fuck? Blurry shit. Yeah. Okay. There we go. That's better. Oh, piece of fucking shit, come on. Plug in. There we go. Sugar some stuff. Tuning some stuff. Oh, tuning some stuff. There we go. Oh my god. Man, oh man. Nope. And there we go. Boom, 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 boom. I want to make sure it's not blasting. Oh, it would have been. Don't want that. Man, fucking nose. My lord. Need some Kleenexes. I'm gonna fucking get some of that tomorrow. Or today. There we go. I remember dropping a nug. I wonder if I can maybe eyeball it. Oh, what the hell? Dude, it's these fucking headphones. You serious? Even though these aren't on. Ay. Yeah, I feel like that nug that dropped last night is probably just gone. I mean, it's not gone, but it's definitely disappeared somewhere. Yeah, whatever. Shit. A little seed. Is this actually mature? No. And this wasn't even fucking developed, really. An undeveloped seed. Man, it's like this whole thing's like a hollow shell. What the hell? Well, that's kind of cool. I mean, pretty much is a hollow shell, but it's got like a cool thing inside of it. I wonder if that's just like part of like how the seed develops. Kind of creates like a seed shell, and then the actual like part of the seed gets developed inside of it. There we go. He's going up. What you doing, Zooks? What you doing over there, Zuka? You running off because you need to go outside or something? It's actually a good idea. Have that door open for him, so you can go outside if you want. Looks like some bees are out today too. That's cool. Hell yeah. Because our kiwi plants and our kiwi vines are all starting to flower up, and all the flowers are blooming on the kiwi vines. Now all the bees are all taking advantage and going grabbing some sugar and pollen sweetness from the kiwi plants. So that's always awesome. I always love checking out the bees. Bees are so cool. And super important. I don't know why, but what the fuck? Why is it like colder today? Even though it was like yesterday, at least it feels like that to me. My body hasn't just totally like woken up and gotten the body heat going yet or anything. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Alright, now for the first bowl of the day. Get this loaded up and smoked up and all that fun shit. I guess see what's going on for the tube and all that shit. See what little things are happening news-wise. If there's anything. Actually, there is some shit that I saw and I was just like, what the fuck? Because first we have Pat Robertson who just fucking died, and now it's Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. Like the dude who did the whole like bombing shit and stuff. So like the dude who was like, you know, philosophically very hardcore anti-industrialist and shit. Like, I mean, it's just like kind of odd, I would think. It's like these big names, like you got Ted Kaczynski, Pat Robertson, just suddenly all dying. I guess it's all coincidence, but still. It's like, now I'm kind of wondering who's next, because now we got Pat, Ted, who else? Is there like anybody else that I could think of? I guess W? Because I know Senior's already dead. Maybe Feinstein? Actually, that would be a blessing. I would actually think it would be fucking great. I would actually be happy, because she's been a problem due to her shingles and dementia. And the fact that Nancy Pelosi and the Democrat Party literally are just abusing her at this point. And that's not even out of empathy for her. But, I mean, the abuse of her is thus by proxy abuse of all of us. So. But, definitely interesting. I find it certainly pretty odd that, you know, you got like like these big names that we've all known for a long time, and they're all just like, fuck it. I'm actually kind of curious about, like, you know, the autopsy of Ted. It's like, was he just like die of health complications? Did like an inmate or something like fuck him up or something? I mean, Pat's obvious. Like, that dude's just old as shit. The albino chimp was eventually gonna croak. But Ted, though. Yeah, I'm actually kind of wanting to see him. I like how it's like the top result on Google. I found dead in prison cell, and that's it. And June 10th, 2023. Yeah, so. Alright, let's see. Is there anything on it? I thought there's an autopsy yet, though. I figured he would check it out, though. Let's see. What's it say? Incarceration and death, yeah. Let's see. 2021, so it was transferred to Supermax Prison in Florence, Colorado, to the Federal Medical Center in North Carolina. What? Are these fucking things really connecting again? Seriously. Fuck! Jesus! Dude, whoa, why did that just explode out of fucking... Jesus. Dude, I'm about to, like, fucking throw these and, like, smash them so they don't fucking connect. Because holy shit. What the fuck was that about? Jesus Christ. Anyway. In 2022, he stated later last. Oh, that's what happened. Texas had cancer. He stated in a letter that he had terminal cancer and gave less than a year to live. And that was back in 2021. During the mid-morning of June 20th, prison staff discovered Kaczynski unresponsive, was dead, being transported to a nearby hospital. So he had terminal cancer, that was going on. Well, you know, I mean, as much as I understand the anti-industrialism Kaczynski, I would imagine that a lot of the industrialism is probably what helps cancer treatment. So, I mean, he's one of those dudes where it's just like, I kind of honestly get it a little bit about his, you know, about why, you know, maybe. Though, obviously, you know, when it comes to his actions, it's fucked up. And, you know, for that, you know, he's, you know, definitely a terrorist in that sense. Though, I mean, at least philosophically, I mean, especially being anti-industrialist and shit like that, I mean, it's like, I can see why, you know, he had the positions that he did. It's just that to literally taking that on everybody else by bombing some shit is not how you fucking do it. You just have to advocate for a better system that isn't that. Because I'm pretty sure, like, you know... Now, also, I'm pretty sure, like, industrialism plays a role a little bit to creating explosives. And that's the thing. I mean, it's like, I get, you know, his criticisms or his philosophy and shit, in a way. But the dude just like, he just, like, honestly, you know, for a lot of people like him, he was kind of a hypocrite. Partook in modern industrial life and had a lot of advantages with it, but nonetheless hated it very immensely. It's like, okay. He tried to get away from it, like, I'll give him that. Like, he actually tried to set up, like, his own little cabin in the middle of fucking nowhere, I think in Montana or something. And even then, he wasn't satisfied. Which honestly makes me just think he just wasn't satisfied with just the system. Which, like I said, I can get it. But I wouldn't, you know, think that his actions at the end of the day, regardless, are good. Because they weren't. Actually, let's do this real quick. Man, I'm kind of nervous about coughing. I swear. Like, if I do one cough, there's gonna be, like, an explosion out of my nose if I do that. Alright, that's better. So at least able to sniff some of that shit out. Ugh. Thing here to type out my buddies here. There we go. Let's see if I can pop this out. Yeah. Oh, there we go. That felt good. Finish out this little comment. Just, there we go. There we go. Got a response to my friends, because even they heard about the little bit of news. I was honestly thinking, it's like, if the dude didn't, like, go full, like, you know, terrorist mode and shit with Kaczynski, you know, at least for Kaczynski, honestly, I feel like he probably could have just been a writer or some shit. I mean, like, it's like he did write, you know, I think at least 1 or 2 books. So, I mean, it's just like, honestly, like, I'm wondering if there's like a, you know, like what world would it look like if, you know, he didn't do the actions that he did do, but instead just was writing and critiquing in that way. Or being like a commentator of sorts. Just from like an outsider's perspective, kind of like a Derek Jensen almost. Because Derek Jensen is like a radical environmentalist type, anarcho-primitivist, and still uses industrialization and technology to an extent, and will use that as a way to just, you know, push his message and his beliefs and stuff like that, and, you know, things that he thinks about and talks about and shit. And honestly, Ted could have just been one of those guys. You know what I mean? It's like Because that's the thing about him, at least for Ted. It's like, the dude was... He generally had, like, some interesting philosophical points, at least to some stuff. But, like, it was just, like, all based on, like, just this very vindictive, violent, you know, reaction towards society, instead of, like, looking at it to make it better. I mean, that was just, like, mainly the problem with all of it. It just culminated into a root of just really toxic fucking, you know, negative, you know, behavior, really. Where it could have, at least at minimal, been, you know, more productive in a sense, in a way that it could have actually been, you know, maybe more influential. Because honestly, I've been seeing a lot of different things before I started this, you know, looking at some articles or even, like, some YouTube videos. A lot of people, I don't know if it's just, like, you know, just internet memesters or what, but there's a lot of people being like, you know, it's like, he was actually pretty right on some stuff, man. I wish he didn't do the actions that he... Like, I feel like, honestly, a lot of people have that take. Where it's like, yeah, he was a piece of shit for what he did, but wasn't entirely wrong, you know, about some stuff, you know, about his worldviews. And I'm just like, okay. I mean, I remember hearing about this dude and everyone, like, being vitriolic about this, you know, just even mentioning it. But nowadays, it seems like people, I don't know, like, have a second take about it, I guess. Or I guess everyone's walking back now that he's dead and being like, oh, well, you know, maybe he was kind of right on a thing or two here and there. It's like, really? Did DFF do an episode on Ted Kaczynski at some point? I need to check out DFF Fried's episode on that. They did. I think it was a patrons thing. Honestly, yeah, because I remember Paul and TJ actually having an argument about his philosophy. Because Paul was coming in from more of an understanding, not agreeing with it really, but at least, you know, an understanding as to why he had his worldviews and shit, and arguing on that sense. And TJ was like, nah, this dude's just crazy and just a fucking idiot. And just like dismissing him as that, basically. You know, and which I get TJ a little bit. I mean, because he definitely was crazy. I ain't gonna deny that. I'm also trying to think, was the Kaczynski Unabomber shit related to the... I think, to some extent, if I remember correctly, I think, like, the whole, like, Unabomber shit was also, like, tangentially, like, related, not directly, but at least just off of influence and a sense of inspiration. I don't know what came first. Actually, I think it would have been probably Waco, I believe, and River Ridge and shit at that point. It all happened around the same year, same decade, the 90s. 90s was a crazy fucking year. Everyone's like, oh, the 90s, and it's like, are you sure about that? Like, you know, there's a lot of things I identify with the 90s, but goddamn was there definitely, like, some crazy shit in the 90s. Definitely didn't have QAnon shit, but, I mean, we definitely had, like, religious cults fucking, like, abducting kids and shit. You know, so it's like, you got that. Got, like, neo-Nazi groups, you know, fucking doing illegal weapon dealing and shit. Also tangentially related to Waco, to a way, you know, when it came to Ruby Ridge, it's just like, the 90s was full of shit like this, dude. It's like, I mean, plus the gay panic was a thing, satanic panic was kind of starting to teeter away, but was still a thing. I mean, like, the whole heroin junkie thing, I mean, it's like, my dude, the 90s was not good. The 90s was basically, like, an era of angst and fucking just, like, what the fuck are we doing with our lives type of era. While still, you know, going along, yeah, with the system at the same time, but also, you know, just having existential crises. Because, like, my lord, there definitely was... I mean, honestly, it's not like, you know, nothing good came from 90s. I mean, a lot of shit did, but my god. Definitely, I saw a lot of not good things, and honestly, there's just a shitload. And plus, you just had, like, Bill Clinton as a fucking president. I mean, you really think that was good? It wasn't. I'd argue that, like, Bill Clinton's administration is what got us the Democratic Party today. So... if anything, 90s was just kind of like the end of, like, the whole 20th century era of America and shit, where at least there was some gumption of them being able to, like, challenge or at least, you know, like, fight, you know, the system to an extent. But after 9/11, once the 90s were done, like, that shit died. But at least, you know, that energy seems like it is slowly coming back, but it's not growing nowhere near as it should be, though. That's just kind of the problem with it. It needs to grow more. There. Actually, yeah, I'm kind of feeling a little warm now. Turn the heat off. And let's see. Let's see what little things are going on for the news. Oh, let's see. Oh, God, this video about a Republican who was anti-woke, who is now full-on rhino gone woke. Aw, how cute. I wonder what that could be about. Oh, I wonder if that Republican probably has a family member that, you know, is maybe queer or something. Oh, it actually partly says it in the title. Defends his trans family member of some sort here. Trans son, okay. So I figured.
Really interesting. So this guy is named Rick Colby. He's an Ohio Republican, and he is talking at this government meeting here, and he's going to urge Republicans to not crack down on the transgender community, even though he's conservative, even though he's a Republican, even though he describes himself as anti-woke. And his thoughts are very interesting, and it's a unique take through personal experience. Listen to this.
I love my son dearly, just as I know many of you with children do yours. I'm a Republican, a Christian, and as anti-woke as you can get. No offense to the Democrats on the committee.
No offense to the Democrats on the committee. What was that random little thing? It's just like, oh, you know, it's just like, hey, I know you Democrats are all woke, so, you know, no offense, guys.
I was also a Christian. I have watched my son transform over the past 11 years into the son and man any father would be proud to have. I watched the debate about transgender people and attempts to ban gender-affirming care, and to be candid, I'm appalled. I see it breaking into this left-right thing, and it's really not. There are Republicans, there are Christians who have transgender children. The people wanting to ban gender-affirming care have no idea what it is like to be transgender or to have a transgender child. This is not something that's done on a whim. It's a deep-rooted dysphoria that, yes, even has spiritual elements to it. My son has a masculine soul, and he said he's felt this way since he was 5. He tried so hard to overcompensate and try to fit into being a feminine young woman by participating in beauty pageants. For years, he tried to be a young woman, and it didn't ease the ache and sadness in his soul, and it was only until he was able to transition to be a young man did the light in his eyes return. You've got to go easy on this. This is a terrible bill. This is not the simple issue being portrayed by the anti-trans people.
Keep it real, that was powerful.
Damn. You know what? Like, I mean, yeah, he's not wrong. He's frankly fucking absolutely right. It's like, cause I mean, there's plenty of times where there's like Republican Christian types of shit that have like, you know, obviously queer kids and shit. I mean, it's a dime a dozen. In fact, it probably happens way more often than people think. It's any original comments on, or the comments on the original video, what, Kyle's video, or the original one on Twitter? That's one to say on here. Supportive unless you period. They don't care until it touches some. Well, yeah, no shit. But it's real natural. Okay, I mean, these are just comments. I mean, all of them are actually going to be at least relatively either neutral or positive.
That was powerful. It's funny, right? Because everybody understands this and sees this when it comes to gay people, and even gay kids, right? We've all had the experience. You know, you meet a kid, maybe a family friend or cousin or whatever, and you know, you say afterwards like, yeah, I think the kid's gay. And, you know, most of the time you're probably correct. Maybe sometimes you're wrong, but, you know...
It's called the gaydar, Kyle.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. And sometimes it is what it is. That's a universal experience, absolutely. But nobody takes that next logical step, which is, well, hold on a minute. If there are gay kids, wouldn't it stand to reason there's also trans kids? And you can argue...
I mean, I feel like, you know, like everything we Kyle's talking about is pretty obvious, but... I mean, you know, it's just like, I mean, this also shows that, like, I mean, especially when it comes to experience and when things, you know, hit people personally, you know, that's when, you know, usually a lot of people have a change of opinion, like, when it comes to certain issues. Like, I mean, not always, of course, but in, you know, a good chunk of the time, there's always, you know, instances where you get someone who realizes, like, oh, I have, like, a gay kid or a trans kid or some shit like that. And realize, like, oh, like, I mean, this is, you know, this is actually something that is impacting me a little bit more personally. Realize that maybe it is something more than what I think it is. And then, you know, go out of the way, or at least, you know, are more willing to come into it with a more open mind. Which, I mean, is good. I mean, it's like, yeah, obviously, especially with the Republican Party stuff, yeah, they ain't gonna give a fuck. I mean, honestly, like, unfortunately, you know, his voice doesn't really mean that much. I mean, it's like, at least it's still important when it comes to at least just being another supportive voice, but, I mean, it's just like, I mean, unfortunately, you know, coming from, like, the Republican Party, I mean, he's just, like, a tiny-ass minority. And, yeah, he's basically, if anything, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if he gets, like, ousted or voted out or some shit, because a bunch of rhino, or a bunch of, like, you know, MAGA chuds and anti-trans right-wingers are all like, and freaked out over it and fucking, you know, try to, like, vote him out and shit. But I suppose, I mean, it won't be surprised if he keeps his seat, just because he might get a little crossover support. Which is possible. I mean, just with something like that alone, I mean, that definitely will open the door, you know, to have a little bit more, like, you know, potential, like, liberal crossover with that, at least, you know, with independents. Which, I mean, it's partly, you know, why he's, you know, doing it to an extent as well. It's not just because his, you know, he has a trans son. It's just, it's also because, I mean, there is, you know, a way to kind of keep, you know, support. Like, if you are having at least the more extreme elements of your base, you know, being bleeded out, then go to the more moderate independents who are outside of your base. We're probably more inclined to vote for you and shit, you know, but don't because of maybe certain specific things. Like maybe being anti-trans or something like that. Oh no, the leopards are eating my face. I worked at the leopards eating people's faces party to me. Oh no. See, I mean, yeah, it is kind of like that. To a strong degree. If we're working for Nazis. Well, the thing is, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that dude has been a Republican for a while now. I mean, honestly, like, I mean, I don't know anything about the dude. Outside of the fact he has a pro-trans, he's, I guess, kind of pro-trans, at least just because he has a, you know, a trans son. But beyond that, I don't know anything about him. Like, I don't know if this is, like, his first term, or if he's been around for a while, you know, or what. But, like, I mean, but if he's been there for a while, then he probably wasn't really realizing that he was kind of, like, you know, like, working with them, because they were not mask off, you know, at this point. Or at least at that point. Like, a few years ago, they were nowhere near as mask off about this shit like they are now. So it's just like, I mean, that's the reason why a lot of quote-unquote rhinos, you know, are kind of being like, you know, kind of, you know, trying to get them away, or trying to, you know, not, like, being so involved with them anymore, because they realize, these people have been in our ranks this entire time, we don't like that. I don't want to be affiliated with that, necessarily. It's like, I'm a right-wing piece of shit, but I'm not like a Nazi right-wing piece of shit. It's like, I mean, they're kind of doing that now. I mean, a part of it is saving face. He needs to be better. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't disagree, absolutely. Like, you can't just simply be like, hey, this is bad, you all should reconsider it. It's like, dude, you need to do more than that, bro. But, you know, considering that he is one of these Republican anti-woke Christian fucks and shit, I mean, yeah, I mean, at least the bare minimum is better than him being overtly like, fuck gay people, and fuck my daughter who thinks it's a thug. Like, I mean, you know, at least he isn't, you know, totally fall in line. I guarantee he's probably still, like, transport shit, stuff like that. Like, I'm sure, you know, his pro-trans line is, like, basically as minimal as fuck. I mean, legitimately. Where it's like, yeah, they should exist and get some healthcare and stuff, but that's it. They still gotta pay for it, though. And if they get denied, oh well, they can just find some other provider or something. Or just pay out of pocket and just suck it up. So he's gonna have that mentality with it regardless. But, I mean, at least he doesn't want them executed or eradicated or criminalized or marginalized or something. So, I mean, it's like on one hand, it's definitely good. But, like, yeah, he still needs to be doing better. It's good, but still, do better. It's like one of those positive, you know, enforcement things. Like, good, but you need to keep doing better. This is a good start. It's like, you know, it's one of those things. When you see someone going on the right path, like, a part of, like, helping, encouraging them to continue on that is to kind of, like, you know, uplift them in a way, be like, good, you know, that type of shit. Like, you know, reinforcement of good behavior type of shit. I mean, you know, it's, you know, you gotta kind of go with that a little bit. It's like, yay, Republican not being a total anti-trans piece of fucking shit. You know, it's just like, alright, good. Now, let's keep going down that path. Good job. I mean, yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. But, I mean, on scale of 1 to 10, honestly, I doubt it. I still honestly doubt he's, like, I mean, I don't fucking know, bro. This weird indictment shit's been going on for, what, fucking years now? And it's basically now, and you know, leading up to 2024, it's just, it feels like just one of those things that's going to be used as a major, like, political talking point, you know, and I don't feel like anything substantial is actually going to be done about it. Like, it just, I mean, I always have said it, but I feel like it's just kind of political theater shit. Like, I mean, I ain't gonna, you know, like, be cheering on him going to jail unless that actually fucking happens. Like, I guess I'm at the point where I'm willing to hold my breath, but, I mean, still. What the fuck is the point of having laws? Well, why do you think we have two, you know, legal justice systems? One for the elites and one for everybody else. Because people like Trump and the elites can get away with doing shit like that, you know, and people like us, if we did even the most tiniest little fucking thing wrong, we get, you know, the severe repercussions and get the book thrown at us. What's the point? Well, like I said, a two-tier justice system. Because if they're the ones making and enforcing and lobbying the laws and shit, then, you know, it's like, why do they need to enforce it? They're above the law. I mean, that's kind of the point. The only reason why they're kind of doing this whole thing with Trump is because, I mean, he's pretty much, you know, like, was so brazen with it that, you know, about, you know, being above the law that he can't necessarily fucking hide it. Which might lead a possibility of him being in prison, but you really think he's going to get, like, life in prison or some shit? He most certainly is not getting capital punishment, so, I mean, well, let's just not try to even fantasize about that as much as I want to. So it's just like, I mean, so even if he does get prison, you really think he's going to be in there for the rest of his life? Fuck no. I mean, you know, like, and even if he does, chances are there's going to be at least something in place to where he either gets a nice little, like, basically a little cushy studio apartment suite, you know, equivalent, like how Al Capone did, at least for a time, you know, and shit like that. And then, you know, on top of that, You know, it's like there might be a way for him to even get out. You know, it's like, hey, you know, you can get out, you know, for like good behavior, this or that, or, you know, go for a certain process to where he could be on house arrest instead or something. So he could basically just literally be at Mar-a-Lago the entire time. So, I mean, honest, I guarantee it's going to be some shit like that. Like, I mean, they might, that's why I feel like it's partly political theater. Like, they're going to use it as, like, an example to make it look like they actually did something and held someone in power accountable, but especially when you're a fucking president, do you really think they get held accountable for shit? I mean, this isn't because I think, you know, Trump is like some Teflon Don fuck. I mean, I don't. It's just like I recognize that when it comes to such high levels of power, they do not get fucking charged for shit. Not even fucking Nixon, because he got pardoned by Gerald Ford. So it's just like, I mean, not even, you know, it's like whether even if there is like some sort of veneer of like, oh, might get caught with it, might get in trouble, nah, ends up being theater up until the last second where it's like, pardon. It depending on who's president next time around, you know, after 2024. Clear present national security risks. I don't disagree. Like, look, I really legit don't disagree with you. Honestly, I really don't. I mean, I'm just saying what the position of the establishment in the system, you know, sees this. Because they don't hold the higher ups in power accountable unless it's like, you know, some sort of whistleblower, you know, within the system, or, you know, or like somebody who might, you know, in a sense be a liability to people's personal interests, like someone like Epstein, who had like an entire black book ledger of every fuck, you know, being a pedophile, you know, when it comes to elites and shit like that. Like, that type of shit, you know, is, you know, in a way far more of a liability. At least, you know, to the people in power. At least that's how they see it. Like I said, I genuinely do not disagree with what you're saying at all. I'm just saying of how the system especially, you know, treats it. If you manage to retake office, enemies as well. Well, I mean, it's like that. Like I said, I don't disagree. I want that to be the case. In fact, I do want him to be in prison. As far as I'm concerned, yeah, let him hang too. You know, like yeah, he's a piece of shit. He leaked national secrets. He sold nuclear documents to countries like Saudi Arabia so they can maybe potentially, you know, develop their own weapons and shit. So it's like the dude's a fucking like piece of shit that just literally overtly will do any business deal and will sell any secret for fucking Buffalo nickel. Like, I mean, frankly, it's like capital punishment is like, you know, as far as I'm concerned, what the minimal should be for some shit like that. It literally is in the Constitution that says anyone who's treason against the state, you know, can be punishable by death. Can be. It's not the only option, but it's specifically listed. So the death penalty is legal in the United States for specific type of crimes. And treason, I think, is a good one to have. Oh, here, yeah, do it. I'm trying to kill. Makes sense. Is the shit normal people get disappeared for? Well, I mean, no trial. Well, yeah, usually, you would think. But usually when that happens, it's not really people who are like higher ups in power. When that type of shit happens. That happened with the DNC back in 2016. Remember Seth Rich? He had a botched robbery where he was literally shot in the back and the head and nothing was stolen from him. Like, his body wasn't really tampered with. He was just shot and that was it. But it was ruled as a failed robbery attempt that went wrong, essentially. Even though, if I remember correctly, there is like security footage from the street that kind of shows, at least leading up to it. And like after the fact, because the actual shooting part was just off camera. And yeah, especially considering the time frame with him like walking up and then like seconds later walking away. Yeah, nah, that ain't a botch robbery. That's just straight up a whack. And he was like, you know, someone who was at least in part that helped leak a lot of information about like you know, emails and then like the DNC leaks and shit like that. Was kind of a big player in that, and that's part of the reason why he was whacked. So yeah, like that shit happens even for small shit like that. Boo boo. Hey buddy. What you doing over there? So Trump is like that guy who Ollie North, who committed treason selling Iran missiles. Oh, that guy? Wasn't it the whole Iran-Contra affair? Or is that a different thing? Back during Reagan? Yeah, which, if, you know, which I would argue is definitely treasonous and a thing that should probably be held liable, you know, when it comes to, like, you know, penalty for someone doing that. Whether Arlie North, Trump, whoever the fuck, it don't matter. Why are they trying to say that that's like something that was a good thing? They're like, yeah, you know, North was actually a good guy doing that type of shit. Just like, it's like they're really saying the same fucking shit. Oh my god. Fucking loons. Yeah. Oh my fucking god. Man, they're basically just like openly saying, it's like, yeah, we're treasonous against the state. We don't give a fuck. Hi. Hey! The hostages got released under Reagan. Yeah, which, like, selling missiles to Iran, like, was not exactly what helped with that, but okay. I suppose maybe it played a part, but it was still illegal and everything. Like, oh my god. It came out 30 years later when Reagan bribed Iran. Yeah. Like, all that shit came out later. To not release them until after the election. Yeah. Like, Reagan literally used that as a way to fucking, you know, like, basically, fuck Carter over. Because Jimmy Carter, essentially was trying to, you know, get the hostages out and shit. But Reagan literally bribed the fucking Iranians to be like, nah, don't release them until I'm elected. Because I'm going to make this a big talking point, and trust me, I'll make it worth your while. Wink. Dude. Get one more bowl smoked up here. You look like you're ready to do another boof. And no. Don't. Fire hot. Yeah, flames tend to be hot. Just like this bowl. Because it was still kind of cooking when I dumped that shit. And it gets really annoying when that happens, because then all the ashes over here will start bellowing sometimes, and I have to try to put that shit out. It's so fucking annoying. I didn't even know what I did with that like little green spray bottle that I had, because honestly, that was a useful little thing to like to kind of stop that shit, or preemptively do that so it kind of burns out when I dump it in there. Get a little moisture all up in that shit. I've seen your future. Oh shit. Oh shit, we got a psychic over here. Is cop. Is cop. Just a cop emoji. What, do I become the new content cop? Is that what's going on? Is my future to become the new content cop? You know, iDubbbz retired it, so it's like someone else got to take the mantle now. Is that my job now? Is that my future? Is that why I'm destined? A local B cop? Man, at least I won't be a piece of shit. All your former friends hate you. Well, maybe some of them, but not all of them. I actually know a couple probably wouldn't. They have a house and they don't. I mean, I already have a house. I don't have to be a cop to have that. Oh my goodness. Man, I hope work is not fucking brutal and just full of goddamn savages today. Oh, who am I kidding? It's probably going to. And it's just going to be two of us for the entire fucking day. And it's going to suck. Ugh. Ugh. Says that's our problem solution. Yeah, solution if you want to go to fucking prison and, you know, get most of your fucking shit taken from you in the divorce court. Which that's a good way to do it. Which I would absolutely celebrate and be absolutely okay with that happening to someone who is a domestic abuser and gets divorced and has like most of their shit taken. It's like, yeah, you got a lot of your shit, you know, taken. Too bad, so sad. Idiot. And off to work, so peace out. And of course, be back around when I get up, so toodaloo, backaroo.